Hey, John Kaverman with Pat Print Pros here again. Today I want to talk about service. Service is something that's really kind of lost in American manufacturing today. When it comes to pad printing equipment, like most industrial equipment, I think a lot of companies don't really want to work very hard to make sure they get the right piece of equipment. They simply want to go out there and find something that they can get quickly, that they can save money on, or possibly purchase used equipment. And I've seen many cases where I'll go in there and there's three quotes, let's say, for a piece of equipment, and there's three competitors. Let's say it's a medium to large pad printing machine, and it's $60,000 range. So you got one guy at 62,000, one guy at 64,000, and one guy at 66,000, let's say. And then there's a fourth person who comes in with a quote that's about 32,000. Most cases, the manufacturer is going to go with the guy who has a machine for $32,000 because it costs less, they think. It might cost less in the beginning, but I can guarantee they're probably going to pay twice as much for it by the time their project's over with. When machines are priced substantially lower than everybody else in the playing field, it's a clear indicator that that particular manufacturer distributor has absolutely no intention of giving you any kind of service after the sale. Service in pad printing is absolutely imperative because there are not a lot of people that are proficient out there with the pad printing process from an engineering or technical standpoint. And when you are paying more for a piece of equipment from a reputable distributor or manufacturer, this is because you're paying for their technical expertise, not only in bringing the machine in and training you perhaps, but also in all of the peripheral things around it. How do you make cliches correctly? How do you make pads correctly? How do you do color matching correctly? How do you have knowledge of all of the different things that your customer is going to need besides for basic consumables in order to be successful? Companies that charge very little or go out and sell machines that are substantially cheaper than everybody else really don't have that knowledge. They don't have any intention of providing that kind of service, and so that's why their machines cost that. So what do you end up doing as a manufacturer? You end up spending significantly more money trying to fix a problem that you created by trying to save money in the first place. What you need to do is create and dedicate a position within your organization that is specifically focused on a project that involves pad printing. That means that one person needs to have all the information in hand to deal correctly with manufacturers and distributors in procuring the right kind of equipment, sending out samples to be printed so that they can be returned to you for evaluation, writing an RFQ accurately to give the manufacturers and distributors the specifications they need to quote equipment that's actually going to meet your need. And last but not least, something that's very important that I don't think a lot of manufacturers and distributors do, I've been doing it for years, and that is a really thorough production cost estimate or production cost analysis. What is it really going to cost you to run machine A versus machine B over the course of a project's lifetime or a product's lifetime? This is something that we do on a regular basis. Many times when we're quoting systems out for an application, we'll quote 2, 3 different solutions, and then we'll cost analyze them against each other to see which one is really going to be the most cost effective for the customer. Given the number of colors they need to print, what their labor rate is, it breaks out how much the ink costs for each run, plate costs, pad costs, all of these things with scrap and everything else estimated in. This is something that almost, as far as I know, nobody else does. So ask for it. I think it's imperative that you know before you go out and buy a piece of equipment that costs $32,000, why does it cost $32,000 instead of 60 some thousand dollars like these other three guys up here? Maybe you should that should raise a red flag. So anyway, that's a little bit about service and what it costs when you don't pay for it in the front end. It can cost a lot. I've seen it happen over and over again. I call it the vicious cycle of underinvestment, where companies will go out and buy the cheapest thing they can find, buy used equipment, and then struggle for sometimes years trying to get to the level of proficiency and efficiency that they could have started out at had they spent more money and purchased more wisely. So I'm here to help you and your organization with those types of things through project management, consulting, and training. And you can always reach me at padprintpro@gmail.com. Check out my website at www.padprinters.com, or give me a call directly at 517-467-5340. I hope this wasn't too harsh. I feel it's accurate, and I appreciate you watching. Thanks.